Oh man, Saturday morning over here at the shop, I'm gonna work on some of my personal stuff, and what I'm gonna be working on is my 1964 Ford Ranchero. We just finished up on the Del Sol. If you didn't see those videos, make sure you go back and check those out, and we're gonna get started.
And now, you're watching Is It Too Late to Have Leftovers from Thanksgiving of YouTube? Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on another video. So the game plan is today, we want to see how far we can get. I want to continue to work on the Ranchero. I also have the Siren that I want to put in. This is a 1960s emergency vehicle Siren. It's real cool. I think it'll be a nice touch to add to the old Ranchero. I'm going to tuck it real nicely, and then we got the tail lights on, we got the headlights on. We want to make sure all our signals are working. I want to check the reverse lights, make sure those are working because we put all new LED bulbs in there, and let's just get started with the Siren. Alright, so the Siren right here, the first thing I want to do is make sure that it still works because it is original from the 1960s. So what I have is I just have it on the jump box because the battery was dead. I didn't have my alternator hooked up. I would hook it straight to the battery, but I'm not doing that. So I got ground on the jump box right here, and then this is the hot wire, the positive wire, so I'm just going to put it right over there, and then it'll hopefully work. Let's see. Man, so it looks like that's working just fine. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put it in the fender. I don't want it crowding up the engine bay because I still have a regular horn that's going to go in there. Another old school 60s horn that's more of a horn, not so much a siren. And then my switch that we put on the switch panel for the horn, that's a up for on, middle for off, and down for on, and the up is going to be one horn and the down is going to be the other horn, and that only stays as long as you're pushing it. As soon as you let it go, it pops right back off, so I'm not going to have to worry about it staying on or being stuck on. It'll be just fine. Alright, so we got it hooked up. I went ahead and I soldered it together, put some heat shrink on it, did all that stuff. And now an old trick that I know is if you want to run some wires through a firewall, just use like an old fuel hose. This is just good. I drilled a hole here to make sure it's going to be the right size. So this isn't going to go anywhere, and that's going to prevent the wire from getting worn down on the actual metal. It's not going to cut it. The right way to do this would be to use a grommet, but this car is old school. That's an old school way, so I think it's just fine. Now if we look at the switch panel right here, like I was talking about, on my switch panel, all these are going to be labeled eventually. So this is for the horn, down is going to be on for the horn, and up is going to be for the siren. So all you got to do, man, people are going to get out of the way if they hear that. Alrighty, so I got the steering wheel pulled, I got the horn wrapped up, the horn is all good. The reason why I pulled the steering wheel is because I had this hub sitting around, and it turns out the hub is not the correct size, but that's okay. This wheel needed to come off anyways because honestly, this old 1980s Mustang steering wheel is just hideous. So now I need to find a hub to fit for my steering column, and the steering column is 1980s Mustang, but we'll find that eventually. So the horn over here, right there, you saw me just put that in a second ago. Ready? Woo! Man, that is loud. And then also, oh yeah, we got the tail lights put on too. Tail lights are on, and then the headlights are on. It took a little while to get the turn signals figured out because we're using LEDs, and then there's flashers inside the fuse box, and for those flashers to work there needs to be so much current. So you can either get resistors to put on the LEDs, and those get real hot, and that lets that flasher relay know that it should be flashing, or you can buy an LED flasher relay. So that's what we ended up doing, is we went with an LED flasher relay. So headlights on, and the switch panel, oh yeah, see, I redid the switch panel as well. This was the old one. I just didn't like how sloppy it was. This one's a lot tighter. The swirls are a lot closer together. So right over here, headlights. And I don't know if you can see the gauge cluster. So the gauges light up, headlights are on. The running lights in the rear, those are also on. And they might look funny on camera because they're LEDs. So that's all good. And then up front, I think it looks real good. We also got the original retro beauty rings. These are a really rare, hard to find piece, but we got these. These were original with the car. And then also my running lights in the front. There's lenses that go there that are supposed to be amber, and then the original retro bulbs are just, you know, like a regular old traditional bulb. So we'll work around that as we went with an amber bulb, and we're just gonna go with a clear lens over top of that, and that'll be just fine. And then let me see what else I can show you. So we got the lights on, and then my switch right here, that's for brights, and then here's the little indicator, and then up front, high beams, low beams, high beams, low beams. And then let me show you the signals too. So with my gauge right here, see the voltage come on? So I got just shy of 12 volts because it hasn't been ran in a little while. And then my blinker right here, left blinker, and then that's working. Right blinker, and then that's working. And then let's see in the front, that's the running light and signal light, obviously. So you got the front signals over there figured out, and the rears are a little bit different because the way this car was when it came from the factory, there's the running light and then there's also the brake light. But then as soon as you hit the brake light and then you turn on a signal on, that kills voltage to the brake lights, and then it turns on the flasher. And we couldn't figure that out, so we said a good workaround was just gonna be to run a third wire back there, and that's why we have the amber flashing, and then the brake lights are gonna work. So I'm gonna be able to hit the brakes and the blinker at the same time, and we're not gonna blow any fuses or anything like that. And I think it looks really cool too. Man, so this car is getting closer and closer to running every single day. Every time I'm working on it, it's getting closer and closer. And another thing, we were kind of having some issues because every night when we'd go home and we'd come back in the morning, the battery was completely dead. And we think where it was draining from was the alternator. As the key was off, we hooked up the meter to the leads that go to the alternator, and that should have no flow whatsoever, but it actually did. So that shows that we're losing power through the alternator. So I'm just gonna get a brand new alternator, and I mean, who knows how old that alternator was. That was the alternator from the 1988 Mustang when I bought it. And then also, I want to get a new one of these tensioners just because while I have the belt off, and you hear it's kind of funny. You got to be careful with these because when you take these off, sometimes they're reverse threaded. See, it looks like I'm tightening it, but that's actually coming off now. And then I don't know if you can notice by eye, it actually looks real weird. That's just because it's a reverse thread bolt. And the reason why they do that is because the way this rotates, they don't want it to back itself off over time. So it makes sense that that is like that. You just got to keep in mind whenever you're working with any pulleys or anything like that, that they could be reverse threaded. Don't just try to tighten them because you're going to be there all day long and then you're going to strip them out. Man, so the Ranchero is looking right. I don't know if you can tell, but it's sitting nice and low. The reason why it's sitting nice and low is because I actually ordered, when I got the whole Mustang 2 front end for the Ranchero, they actually gave me big block springs, and I talked with the company that sold it to me, and they said there's nothing they can do. So I actually just cut off a coil and a half. They're sitting right here. So, left side, right side. Just the springs, I just cut them off, and now it is sitting perfect. The rear is nice and low, the front is nice and low, and we also still got good clearance underneath. We're not going to be hitting anything. The exhaust hangs a little low, but that's just the exhaust that was on the Mustang, and I'm probably going to get a whole new exhaust for the car, put the mufflers probably underneath the bed, so that way the mufflers aren't scraping the ground in. Man, that's all I can say right now for the Ranchero. So, what do we got going on? Looking forward to the rest of the week. In the next video, I'm definitely gonna get back to working on the 240 now that the Del Sol is out of there. This car, lots of work. I'll catch you up with everything when that video comes out. There's some footage in there actually from about a month ago, and then I'm just gonna continue to pile on top of that footage to make one nice edit, and then we'll have more videos from there on out. And also later on in this week, I promise you, I got some announcements coming for 2019. I've been hinting that 2019 is gonna be crazy, and I'm looking to do huge things on YouTube. Let me just tell you this, if you're looking for anything more from me, 2019 is where you're going to want to stay tuned. And like I said, those announcements are going to be in the next couple videos. I'm just going to put whatever I'm working on plus announcements all included in a video coming real soon. So definitely look forward to that. Look forward to 2019 because I promise it's going to be crazy. And that's all for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. I'm out.